Hey everyone, so in this module we are going to learn about the errors, the thing most of you are already familiar with and the thing that are irritating you all. So basically in Python 3 the errors are classified as syntax errors and exception handling. But in case of normally like in Python there are different kinds of error, more than 30. So we are going to learn most of the common errors that we encounter in our programs, and I will provide the notes for the other errors so you can have a knowledge about every kind of error, because the error handling is one of the most important thing in Python. So if you write types of error in Python, you will get this list here where you have 27 here and 3 approx 30 kinds of errors. And if you get to that one, you will get a list of these errors in this list. So here you have different errors. You can have a look at every of these, and how they get in your programs is like, if I have here atom, so for error, again make a file that is error.py, save this one, and when you run the code in Python, like I have Python 3, and you write something like 3 plus is equal to, you will get error, and there a thing written here that is syntax error. And this is different in different cases, like if I give a space first and write 3 plus 5, everything seems to be correct here, but here we get indentation error. So similarly we have different error, and all these occurs due to any particular case. Like this syntax error occurs when we have a error in our syntax, like here I have it 3 equal to and nothing there. Indentation error occurs when we did not get to match in positions. So that's what all the errors are classified accordingly. And thanks for watching. This is about the introduction, and from the next video we are going to cover the errors one by one. Hey everyone, so in the last video we have a lookout at this table where you have a number of errors, and most of them are not important for us because they do not occur every time. There are only few errors, approx 7 errors, that occurs again and again in our code. You will not find any error like EOF error and floating point error, something like these. You will get some errors like this one, indentation, syntax, runtime error, and something like this one. So normally we have these 7 errors if we talk about, and there is one more, that is attribute error, that you can also learn about. But these 7 are the common errors that are encountered in our nearly every situation where we get error. So we are going to learn about these 8 errors and learn how we can avoid them and how we can solve them when we get one. So thanks for watching. See you in the next video with the syntax error. Hey everyone, so in this video we are going to terminate one of your most common enemy, that is the syntax error. I think till this point every one of you get this syntax error a number of times, even some get this one in hundreds of times till now. So what the syntax error is? So now here I have the Python terminal and I open a shell here. Syntax error is generally error that occurs while writing the syntaxes when you get divert from the main instructions. Like if you have the structure of print is like print, then you have to use parentheses, then you have to use double quotes, and or you can also use the single quotes but twice, and you can write the string in between them if that one is a string. And if that one is a variable, then you have to just write the variable in between them. And when you did not have the variable, you will have different kind of error. Try to understand this thing. Like if I have this one FA and that FA is not defined anywhere, you will get an error, but this one is not a syntax error. Syntax error occurs when you just only get diverted from the main instruction, like you have to write this thing but you forget to write the double quotes in the end of the string, and you hit enter, you will get a syntax error. I hope you understand this thing, that what actually syntax error is, that the diversion in the main syntax. Also, if you write something like 3 plus 5, you get just generally 8, because it's a complete syntax required in Python. But if you write something like 3 plus and you forget to write 5 and just hit enter before writing that one, you will again get syntax error, because in the plus operator we have something on the both side that will be of same data type. Like if it's a string, then on the both side it will be a string. So that's the syntax error here. What actually it is, it's just the when you get something different from the main instruction type. So for this syntax error, you can easily prevent this one, but not every time you can prevent this one, because one time whenever you're writing anything, even once you will get something different from the main instruction, you forget parentheses, you will forget the quotes, then you will get this syntax error. One more thing, like if I have this print command and I have this quotes and something in this between the quotes, and you forget to write the end parentheses, when you hit enter, you will not get any error. You will get a shell here in which you can add another thing like this one, and when you hit enter, now you will get an error, because this thing is expecting the closing of this parenthesis or concatenation of other strings and something like that. Also, if you try to write this thing and you will have the parenthesis, now you will get all the things printed, because the print command can be expanded to any number of lines, so that's not an issue there. So that's the thing about this one. Let me have another one on the top so you can see easily. I have Python 3. Now a few more things about this one, like here I have where I get this thing of my syntax error. So how to get to the error and how to correct it if you get the one. So here if you notice, when I have written the print parentheses quotes FA, if you try to check this one, you can easily spot you have missing double quotes here. But what when you have a large number of code, so like something like 200 to 300 lines or thousands of lines, then how you can find that error? So for that, when you get the error, you have a particular syntax with that error that consists of the error name in the last, the proper thing that what for the error is, like eval while scanning string literal. So when scanning the string literal, this thing, it will have an error, so it stops after that one. About this one, you have something like this one, which includes the main library from which you have the error, like std.in. This one is for printf, in which the printf is in build, and the printf inbuilt function is stored in these things, and input etc. These are in std. But this thing is not important for us. The thing important for us is this thing that denotes the line number. Like here I have line 1 because I have only line 1, so it's denoting the line 1. If you have different line, you will get different. And here after this one, I have the main error, that at which point I have the error. So this is the line that I have written in line 1, and here if you notice this upper arrow, this one is known as token, or actually the token is the point it denoting to, but we generally call this one also a token. So it's denoting here that on this point you have the error. This parenthesis is not expected here by the compiler, it's expecting a double quote here. So you have to go to that point and notice that what's the thing that is different at that point from the required one. So here when I go, I see, oh, here's a parenthesis and it's required to be a double quote here between the parentheses so that this string will be completed. So I have added this quote, then parentheses. When I hit enter, I get the FE. Also in some cases, when you write this thing like here, let me write on that one so that it will be more clear. Exit this one. Here I have my error.py and I write something like print, and here I have hello, something like that, and you forget this one and you write print lg, whatever you want to, command as this one. And here when I run this one, python 3 error.py, you will get again this syntax error. But here one thing, now when you try to find the error, this one is denoting the t, this token here, this t. But when you notice this one, and also you have line 2 here, now you will go to line 2 and notice the t, but everything is correct here. So why this actually happen? So in that case you have to check the previous lines for the errors, because the Python will only show you error for the particular line or the error from the previous line, not the after lines. And also when you notice this print, that is print is getting error, this token at the end of any particular function that is inbuilt, then it's denoting that you have some particular error before that thing. Like here I have this print, then this whole print is not expected here, it's expecting something else, that one, but it's expecting. If you notice on the previous line here, you did not have the parentheses, so it's expecting a parenthesis there. So when you save that one and try to again run that one, you will get the correct result. So that's enough for the syntax error. More you will learn about the errors, then more it will be clear to you. I hope you understand this one and try to spot your errors. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hey everyone, so in this video we are going to terminate another error, that is the second most common error, the indentation error. This is something like when you are writing a code, like here I have python 3 and you just write something like 3 plus 5. Here there is nothing wrong in this code, but when you hit enter, you will get this thing, indentation error. And the token here denoting is on 3, but the 3 is a proper value, that is a number. And another form of this error is something like in while you are using loops and you write something like for, or if I say if, which is a more common thing, if 3 equal to 3, then you will write something like, you will get again indentation error. So what that indentation mean? So indentation means aligning in a proper line. If you notice here, I have these things like 1 and below 1 I have 2, then 3. This is something a vertical list that I have written here. That's something like a little more efficient. Instead of writing this thing here, if I write this one and like this thing, then this doesn't make any sense. This is one thing here, that this thing also has the same meaning like the proper intended one, but this one is something like people did not find this one easy to understand. So that's the thing here, that this alignment is known as indentation. Similarly in Python, that's why Python is not known as free-form language. A free-form language is one in which you can write anything anywhere, like in basic C programming. I think some people are familiar with that. In C programming you can write anything anywhere. The reason for that thing is, while you are working in C programming, like if I have a for loop, then what you will do there, you will use these curly braces and you will write the code in the braces. And another thing, where while you are not using the braces, if you are using something like a is equal to 3 plus 5, you will use these statement terminators. So in every programming language there is something that makes the your editor, whatever you are using, that makes your compiler, this thing is also known as compiler, to get to know that this syntax is terminated now. Here in C we use these four normal syntaxes. Then the program get to know when this comma is terminated that this syntax is now completed. In case of loops, it get these curly braces. When it terminates this one, it means that the loop begins, and with this one the loop ends. But if you notice in Python, we did not have anything like that. We use simple functions like function, their name, braces, and then here we use return, etc. But again, in other programming languages, for function also we need to define function and then these curly braces so that the statement ends. Now the thing here is, how do the Python get to know that the statement is now completed or not? And another thing, when did the Python get to know that the function, because we have studied function till now, that function is ended or not? Like I have something written in the function, then how did it get to know that function terminates here on the return? So the thing here is the indentation. Python gets the indentation. If you write something like here space 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 and 5 plus 4, you will get error in this thing because you have left this space blank and this thing is not properly indented. So I think you get a little idea that what the indentation means. This thing, alignment of every particular syntax in proper way. Now if we talk about the function, we have something like def and then the function, and then for main indentation, like here when I write simple codes, I go line by line. Here I have 2 plus 1, I go here again and again there. But in case of conditionals and functions and loops, we use these things, these dots, to define that this particular block that define the particular function begins, and for that we use a proper indentation gap of a tab. If you notice this one, this is a tab gap here, that wherever you use these things, then in the next line you have to make a tab. If I again use a function here and this thing, then I again need a tab. If I do something like here I have taken the tab, but here I start writing the code, I will definitely get the error. In functions also, if I define this function add and a comma b, here I have c is equal to a plus v, and then return print c, and if I use a equal to 3 and v equal to 2, command s this one, and let me exit this thing. And now when I run the program, I did not get any output. Why did not I get any output? Here return print c, c is equal to a plus b, and I don't know why this thing happened there. Let me again run this program. Maybe I did not have saved this one. Now Python 3 error.py. Again this one is not working. Oh, I did not call the function. I have written there, but I did not call the function for a and b. So here I have add a comma v. I get completely in the error. I forget to write that one. So here I have 5. So the thing here is, now if I do something like this thing, I did not intend this one and this one. Now if you try to run this one, you will get indentation error, and the token is on C. Now if you check this one, there is no error in the code. The code is same as we have used before, but the thing here, it's not indented. Now I believe that this is enough about the indentation. You got idea what that thing is. Also, if you do something like you add this thing in the function and did not indent that thing, then when you run this program, you will again get error, because here now you have not defined the a in the function. Now this a is a part of this function, not the part of program, just the function. That's why you get a is not defined and you have a name error. So that's all about the indentation. And the things to prevent the indentation error are common. Like first thing, if you are writing any line syntax, a normal line syntax, then just go line by line. There will be no indentation error. If you are working on things like loops, functions, or anything that uses this comma, then always write after a tab, write after a tab or add a tab there. Third point, for multiple this commas, use multiple tabs. So always focus on only these three things. If you are using a line syntax or a syntax without this thing, just go line by line. If you are using this thing once, just give a tab. Still you working on that program, and when you left that program, then go on your common line. Like when we exit the function, we go on the first line. And if you are using multiple number of these, then for every comma there, add a tab in the next statement so that it will be properly indented. So that's all about the indentation error, and I hope you will now focus on that thing and maybe you will not get that error. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hey everyone, so here in the video we are going to cover the type error, that is the third type error. Now these two are the errors you are getting more, and these are some errors you will not get more, but when you get, then be ready for that. So what is a type error? So this one denotes by its name that the error in the type. Like if I run Python 3 and I will do something like 3 plus D, here I will get type error. What that mean? That I am trying to perform any particular operation that must be done on the same types of data, on different types. Like here, unsported operand type S, 4 plus int and string, that I am adding an integer and a string. So that must be a type error. I cannot do that thing with two different kinds of data types. If you store x is equal to 3, r is equal to something like d, and then again if you try to do this thing on variables also, you will get again the type error. So that's basically all about the type error, because it's nothing much important, and also there is nothing more about this one except this thing. You will easily able to spot that thing. One more thing, here you will not find token. If you have noticed, you did not have any token, because in this statement it will clearly explain that where the type error occurs, and you have tried that thing in an improper way that is not expected by the compiler. So that's the thing about the type error, and the things to prevent the type error is always focus while storing the data in variables, and then perform the operations. One more thing, when you take the input from the user, like let me exit this one, the second situation where you will get this kind of error. So here this one, and let me define a simple function, input, enter, just enter, and copy this one, command C, command V. Here this one A, here this one B, and command S. Now sometimes what happens, like if I have C is equal to A plus B, also you have noticed in some situations while we are performing this thing, and when we add the numbers, this input take them number as strings and did not able to perform the operations. Like if I have this one A plus B star 2, and then when you will run this thing, here I have python error.py, enter 1 2 3, and this thing seems to be correct, but let me also write print here, print C. So here I have 2, here I have 3, and here you will get 2 3 2 3. So this one is also, you can assume this one as the type error when you get something like this one, because these things are strings, not the numbers. Here you will also not find that what the error is, because there is nothing shown here. You will get output 2 3 2 3. But what about the your proper result? That must be 2 plus 3 5 star 2, that is 10. But here you have 2323, that is also a string. If you check the type of this one, you will get a string. So that's again a thing here where you did not get the type error, but that actually is a type error. So for that you need to convert these things, and nothing much more about this one. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.